Now, my position on the church is this, and I've always said this. You know, when Jesus was here, he wanted us to have a relationship with God ourselves, a personal relationship with the Lord. He didn't advocate for us to always just be in the church 24/7. He advocated for us to do unto others as we have them do unto us. He advocated for us to treat our neighbor as ourselves. These are more personal things that Jesus had wanted us to do in life, right? Well, if you go to these churches, and you know Martin Luther King said the 11 o'clock hour is the most segregated hour in America. But fast forward past that time period, Martin Luther King said that we still have, that. And even though he's right about that, another instance, I will say people, from what I just look at with human psychology, people like the familiarity. And so they kind of go more so with their own culture. OK, a lot of times it's not a hatred thing. Sometimes it's just a cultural thing. But with them folks, a lot of times it got something to do with hate, right? But this one young sister, because, you got these churches ran by even some of these mega churches that say like the Lakewood Church. I'm going to use that one here in Houston, Lakewood Church. And that has black people, a lot of black people in Lakewood, all kind of groups of people in Lakewood. But what this sister going to touch on is something that when I used to go there at one point in time, she's spot on about.
People said that I was crazy and doing the most when I said that I don't trust mixed race churches that don't address social issues that are affecting their congregants. And now y'all are surprised that Maverick City music is connected to MAGA. Yeah.
Now, when I used to go to Lakewood Church at one point in time, did I enjoy the services? Yeah, it was cool. If you want some positivity, Joel Osteen is great for that. I mean, just to be honest with you, he really is. But outside of that, Joel Osteen did not talk about no issues about anti-black racism. He didn't talk about issues that would happen, let's say, in the Latino community. He had Latinos in the church. He talked about no issues that happen to Asians. He didn't talk about no issues in politics at all that would affect just even Christian people, or certain laws being put on the books that are anti-God, right? He didn't advocate. He didn't talk about none of that. But, these churches are all tied in with the political parties, even the black ones. Because, you may talk about Maverick City music is tied into MAGA, but the black pastors a lot of times are tied into Democrats. So even the scriptures teach for us to be in the world, but not of the world. And tied to political parties is being of the world. Now, God didn't say you couldn't speak against politics or speak on politics. He said just don't be of the world. You don't supposed to be no Democrat, Republican in the church. Your pastor supposed to be preaching, thus saith the Lord. Not to say you can't be involved politically, but what does your policies, how does it affect us as black people and also Christian people? How does it affect? And that's what the pastor should be doing. It shouldn't be advocating one party over another. It's what party is based on what they're pushing is more aligned with the scriptures. And what party or candidate, let me say, is pushing things that's not aligned with the scriptures. You feel me? But they don't address these issues. They really don't. Let's call it what it is. You guest in their house. They wasn't addressing, what made you join that church wasn't because they was addressing our issues. So why should they address issues because you're there? I mean, in a perfect world, they should. But you didn't join because they was addressing our issues. Now, if you go to the black church down the street, some black churches don't even like to address the issues. But I think our issues should be addressed, especially when you got people there, when you got issues and problems going on, because Jesus addressed the issues of his day. So why can't we address the issues of our day? You understand? That makes sense? So they're not going to address a lot of these issues. They're not. And some of them are tied to MAGA, right? And some people may be surprised, like, how these churches are tied to MAGA. Well, their view of Christianity is different than our view of Christianity. You understand? Christianity was used to enslave us. That's their version of it, not the version from the Bible, not the version from Jesus, their version, because they felt that they had a right and a blessing from God to enslave us. And that's why, as you come more and more into knowledge, you understand they really can't be Christians. Because if they was a true Christian, they would have paid reparations already in the form of cash payments. If they was a true Christian, they would get every law off the books that's unequal and not fair. If they were true Christians, they'll make sure that they stop doing the things they're doing all over the world that hurt and harm people, and that's not righteous. They would make sure of that. There's so many things that they would do based on, hey, I'm a Christian, I'm following the Bible. And that's not what they do. So that's why I said they're not capable of being true Christians, because they wouldn't have white supremacy if they were true Christians, because the Bible don't advocate for that. It don't. So, you know, I think we need to not look at some other groups to address our issues. I believe we should be addressing our own issues. And there's plenty of churches, I see them online, that be addressing the issues in the black community all the time as black pastors. What's wrong with going to the black pastor? I grew up in the Baptist church with black pastors. Nothing wrong with that. Not every black pastor is bad out here. You know, some of them do some dirt, but not all of them. Find you a good church home if you want to go to church that's teaching the word, that's people of good character, and have a lot of good programs for you know, married couples, children, the elderly, that's doing great work in the community, because they do have some great churches out here. You know what I'm saying? And I have no problem with the church. I really don't. Just as long as one of them churches is doing right, then hey, I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a firm believer that we should be in churches that are more just culturally aligned. And churches that's culturally aligned would be our churches. Because listen, we sing different, we preach different, we praise different, and that's okay. That's okay. Now, some of these mixed churches you're talking about, they like some of that. But at the top, it's not going to be us running it. And to have true cultural alignment, we have to run it. And it's just that simple. At the end of the day, choose where you want to go. I'm not telling you where you want to go. But if you want true cultural alignment, then we got to go to churches who are ran and controlled